Okay, so I thought I'd do a stream of consciousness type video on my thoughts on Star Wars Battlefront for the PlayStation 4. Can't speak to the Xbox or the Benedict Xbox, as I like to call it, after their attempt at fascism when they launched, and not into the PC gaming thing, mostly because it's a freaking ton of money to spend on a computer, which is why I do console gaming, because I'm really a casual gamer. So I'm going to start by general comparisons. There's going to be a lot of comparisons to Battlefield, in particular Battlefield 4, which is probably my favorite game of the current generations of especially shooters. And there's a pretty good comparison because they run on the same engine, that kind of thing. First up, this game, visually, I love it. And I should also mention, too, this is it's like March 11th, March 12th, so it's before the launch of the first expansion, and they're just starting to give us a couple of new maps. So the game launched in November, so that's November, a little bit of November, December, January, February, March. It's like 4 months. And I don't want to turn this into a complete time of just bitching about the game, but 4 months and no expansions. I paid for the all of the season pass up front, and I haven't gotten anything in 4 months. It's like $50 I spent and got nothing in 4 months. So I kind of feel like, they released it in November. They should have had a first expansion sometime around Christmas, January, something like that. Making us wait 4 months for the first expansion. Quite frankly, that sucks. I'm annoyed by that. The game itself, though, it's a ton of fun to play, but when you compare it to other shooters, it has a lack of depth. A lot of people call it casual. I wouldn't necessarily call it casual. It's fun, it's dynamic, but there's a lot less customization in this game than there is in Battlefield 4, for example, or Battlefield 3. Now those games are tedious in the customization because they take forever to get fully customized. So this game is definitely a game where you can just pick it up and start having fun playing it, but it's not quite like once you get past the first couple hours of playing, you kind of sometimes feel like, especially if you've been playing a game with more depth, you kind of want to play with something that has more depth. Vehicles. I got some shots here in this video of vehicles. I was expecting a lot more out of the vehicles in this game. They're fun when you're in them. They're fun to use, but for example, in Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, you can get in and out of a vehicle ad hoc. You decide you want to get in a vehicle, get in a vehicle. You decide you want to get out of a vehicle, you get out of the vehicle. If somebody gets out of a vehicle to fix it, which is again something you can't do in this game, and that doesn't really bug me. The whole fixing vehicles and character classes, that's probably not a good fit for Star Wars. But when you get out of a vehicle to fix it, you can get killed, and then somebody would steal your vehicle. You can't steal vehicles in this game, so that's one thing. Not that there's a lot of ground vehicles, but it would be cool to be able to get in and out of vehicles ad hoc. That'd be awesome. So I was really, really disappointed when I started playing this game and I couldn't get out of or get into a vehicle that was just sitting there. I found that super disappointing. The heroes kind of make up for it. The heroes are fun. I like playing with the heroes. I think Luke Skywalker, out of the ones that are released right now, he's my favorite. Fast, and the lightsaber, just basically get into their base, do a dance of death, and man, it's a lot of fun. On the other side, I'd probably have to say Boba Fett's my favorite. Now, here we got a clip here of the TIE Interceptor. The flight in this works okay, unless it's a snow speeder, but a snow speeder is a speeder that's been modified to have a higher altitude, in the Star Wars world. The other ones, they're fighters. The thing is the stick controls are simplified. I think maybe everything is designed around just being able to pick up the game and play it, which is good. I mean, it has a broader appeal than Battlefield will have. And again, I compare it to Battlefield because it's probably my favorite shooter type game. But you don't have the ability to invert your vehicle. You don't have that kind of control. I mean, I love that particular kill right there. That was a fun one. It's just something cinematic to me about that shot. The game is beautiful, but going back to the vehicles, you don't have the ability to roll your vehicle around and maneuver as much as you do in other games that have, you know, that kind of ability, the, you know, broad-based ability of being on foot and then also having vehicles flying around. So I find that a little annoying, or a lot annoying. I've gotten over it. I play it. I do just fine. But when I go back and I play some Battlefield, I tend to have a lot more fun with vehicles than I do in this game. And I think that that's something that I'd hope if they do a sequel to this game. I really hope that they make the vehicles much more like they are in the Battlefield franchise. Not bad, it's just I know what they're capable of, and this doesn't live up to that. I know I'm bitching a lot here, but this game is a lot of fun to play. It is a fun game to play. It's undescribably fun. Even though I do think it's casual and could benefit from a lot more depth, or just a little bit more depth. Just anything to build on. I think that's probably my biggest beef with this game, is just the lack of depth. Like, it's visually, you just cannot match anything with this scope. I think that maybe more players would be nice. 20 on 20 is good. I mean, especially when you compare it to, you know, PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 era. You had 12 on 12, I think, at that point, and in Battlefield you can do 32 on 32 right now. So 20 on 20 feels like a little bit of a step back, but because the graphics are the visuals are so much better, I kind of forgive it. I mean, just even at this video is probably 720, because that's what the PlayStation renders videos at. It still looks pretty amazing, and when you're playing the game, it looks a lot better than what you're seeing in this video. So visually, the game is it's a ton of fun. It's very immersive. From a map standpoint, this is a new map that just recently came out at the time of this video. It's Survivors in Endor. I like this one better than the other Endor maps, although I do think that it's got tunnels instead of a indoor building structure. Haven't quite figured all that out yet, but I do think that it lacks. Again, there's no vehicles in the map, so I kind of wish that there were some vehicles to play with, and even if there were just the speeder bikes. So it doesn't really have that, at least that I've found. But I say Endor is probably my least favorite map. I just feel like whenever I'm running through that, the visuals are so good that the underbrush is always there, and people tend to camp and spawn and snipe, so you get shot in the back a lot, which is great if you're the guy doing the shooting, but really annoying. Yeah, that was funny right there. I got the top player killed, and I had a loadout at the time that was for anti-vehicle, and I went to go get him with one of my normal loadouts, which is for personnel foot combat, and pulled up a ion cannon, or excuse me, ion torpedo launcher, and couldn't get the next guy, which was that cracked me up at the time. Anyways, another thing too is you compare the on-foot action to, say, Battlefield, and then you compare it to COD, which I haven't played the newer games in COD, Call of Duty. I think the last one I played was probably Black Ops 2, and that's mostly because my good friend 50 Cal, he's a COD guy, but he switched over to and went trader and went to Xbox for this generation, and didn't get a PlayStation. And I'm not getting an Xbox, and he's not getting a PlayStation, so I didn't bother to play any Call of Duty games. I'd say Call of Duty is definitely on foot a smoother game. This, though, is a huge improvement on what Battlefield was for foot combat. It's just a lot smoother, and it's definitely designed around this. You can feel when you play a Battlefield game that it's not designed to be a on-foot combat game. I know a lot of guys play it that way, but it's not as smooth as playing Call of Duty. This game is a bridge between the two of them. It's definitely a lot better game when it comes to on-foot action. So I'd say that's a positive. There's so many positives, but I always compare what depth you could get out of this game compared to to Battlefield. So there's a lot of depth that they could have added to this game that's just not there. And I think if they added that depth, a casual gamer will walk in, he'll start playing. You still have everything going on that you have right now, but you could have a little more. In particular, vehicles. I mean, just getting in and out of vehicles is something that I kind of wish was there. But then again, you have to add all the layers of depth of being able to fix vehicles and stuff like that, and that does take time to learn. And you really, with a game like this, I get that they just want somebody to plug it in and start playing it, kind of like the Uncharted series for the PlayStation. You play the first level of an Uncharted game, it is a ton of fun to play, and you get hooked, and then you get hooked into the story too. Obviously there's no story here. I do kind of miss the fact that it doesn't have a single player campaign. I know that Battlefield's known for being like a multiplayer game, but they have a single player campaign, and I actually enjoy playing the single player campaign. I haven't gotten the Battlefield Hardline series because it doesn't have it's not a Battlefield game in my mind, but it does have a single player campaign. I'm thinking about picking it up just for that. This game would have benefited with a single player campaign. So those are my thoughts, not yours, and they're worth exactly what you paid for them. Au revoir.